Welcome to this episode of the Legal Paige podcast. Have you ever wondered how to spend your education budget in 2022? I'm talking about everything from coaching to workshops to conferences and more. Well, I think it's super important to A, constantly be investing in your business and taking things to new heights, but B, to plan this out now, way before 2022 actually hits. As someone who has not only invested in all of these areas for myself and my business, so I walk the walk and talk the talk here, I've definitely spent my fair share of my business profit on investing back into myself. But I have also, been a keynote speaker. I've coached other business owners multiple times over. And I see it from both sides of things, why it's good to give back and be an educator and a business coach to people, but also why it's so important to surround yourself with people that can help elevate you to the next level. And we talked about that in last week's episode. And so I wanted to follow up this episode with the budgeting of that and the finances behind it as a business owner. So you can really make good strategic financial moves in your, business P&L versus just willy-nilly going to a conference here or doing a workshop there. And I also wanted to point out that people are going to have holiday deals, Black Friday deals, before the end of the year deals, cards that close at the end of this year for events happening next year, and early bird pricing, which is an easy way to save money with your educational budget and to kind of prepare and look out for those, but as you kind of head into 2022. So let's get into this episode, Legal Pagers.
You're listening to the Legal Paige podcast, where we chat about life and business with a legal twist. I'm Paige, attorney and photographer helping online businesses and creatives tackle their business dreams without breaking out in hives. No more legal mumbo jumbo. This podcast features simple, bite-sized advice that'll have you legally legit in no time. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Hey, friends. So thanks for tuning in today. I know that planning for your educational budget is probably a daunting task. Most people are just looking at their finances and saying, yeah, I have a little bit of extra disposable income. But if you are doing this earlier rather than later, as you're kind of projecting what you're going to be making in 2022, what you could spend now versus then, that is really important to be a better kind of chief financial officer of your business, a CFO, if you will. Putting on that hat during this episode is what I really want to go over. It's really important to plan in advance to help you know where to and why it's a good idea to invest in X. I don't want you to just create a plan, but I also want you to start investing now and saving your money now, because taxes are a thing and that is part of the financial equation as a business owner. And so I think some people get into trouble with this where they think, oh, I just need to pour a bunch of money into my educational budget so that I'm reducing my taxable income in that respect. But at the end of the day, you still need to pay taxes. You still want your business to be making a profit. You don't just want to pour everything back into investing into yourself and, you as the CEO and educating yourself and going to workshops. I want you to do that, but I don't want you to overdo it where then your business isn't making any money. So the very first thing I want you to do is look at your budget. If you have not done that, and so many of us, especially in the wedding and event industry right now, are beyond busy. I get it. You are just trying to tread water, keep your head above water, serve your clients to the best of your abilities. You're probably either late or really close on deadlines, and this is the last thing you want to be doing right now. But if you don't do it now, you're going to be hurting later on. So just take a quick look at QuickBooks or, wherever, if you just have a budget spreadsheet that you use on Google Sheets, what have you. If you have a bookkeeper, talk to your bookkeeper about it. They're great. Outsource this to somebody if you're super busy. But look at your budget. Sit down just for like 10 minutes, please. And take a look at your, P&L statement for this month. And then take a look at your overall profit and losses and expenses for the entire year, what you've paid on quarterly taxes. If you have paid quarterly taxes, you're putting yourself in a better position to really kind of know what type of disposable, expendable income that you have for educational purposes here by the end of the year. If you haven't paid quarterly taxes, then you probably have a pretty hefty tax liability bill that you need to be prepared for and save for. All of those things factor into your budget. So look at your budget, see how much you've made this year. Even compared to last year, that's really important. And I would say probably compared to 2019, because 2020, all of our finances were wacky and made 0 sense. And it was not a common year. So I don't want you to predict or project anything from this year and next year from what happened in 2020. So go back to 2019, kind of look and compare your budgets. Compare in 2019, like what you did for educational endeavors. Did you put money towards a conference? Did you put money towards a business coach? And was that fruitful for you? Did you get something out of it? If so, then maybe you want to look into that for 2022. But I don't want you to just suddenly like make a credit card charge or, take money out of your business bank account to pay for a business coach willy-nilly in 2022. I want you to plan for it now. We've got about 3 months left of the year, October, November, and December. And so there's a lot of things coming up. The reason I wanted to talk about this as well is because there's lots of opportunities that are going to present themselves. It is specifically over November and December. And they're going to pitch it really well. There's really good marketing out there. And they're going to make you feel like you need to do it. But I don't want you to do it if you financially can't afford it, okay? So start with how much you should be allocating for coaching. That's where I want you to start. Say you have this year, like you've got a good profit of, $20,000 to $30,000 just in your business. That's after you've already paid yourself. That's after you've paid all of your expenses. You've got a good business profit of $20,000 to $30,000. That's where I think you can really be like, okay, financially, I can invest into a mastermind or one-on-one coaching or like a big group coaching experience. What is the pricing of that experience? So start like looking and putting feelers out there, because at the end of the year, that's when everybody's getting ready to launch their mastermind or one-on-one coaching or other programs that they have out there. They're starting to like pre-launch and like put it out into the universe that they're going to have some type of coaching program in 2022. And as they start doing that, like make a list of, okay, these are the things that I'm interested in, but I want you to look at the pricing, okay? And then I want you to look at, there's a payment plan. If you have profit of like 20 to 30,000 right now, it makes way more sense to pay the full price and get that as a business expense deduction this year in 2020 for your 2021 taxes, because the cha-ching moment will happen by the end of December 31st, 2021. If you don't have a hefty business profit by the end of this year, and you're still wanting to do like a mastermind or one-on-one coaching, if you don't even have like $5,000 to $10,000 of business profit when you're looking at your business budget right now in October 2021, I am going to be your like big sister Paige here and tell you like, I don't want you to do it. I don't think that that's smart financially, unless you can find a payment plan that makes sense for you in 2022, and you are committed to making more money next year and having more profit in your business, where you're still going to maintain 10, 20, 30K at least of business profit beyond what this expense is going to be monthly. Because there's a lot of like one-on-one coaching programs or masterminds that come out, and they're really awesome. They'll say, oh, you only have to pay like $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 a month. And you're like, okay, I can do that. Like, I think I can afford that next year. I can make more money next year. But be realistic about it right now, my friend. Like, does that actually make sense for you financially? I do not want you in debt from a mastermind or one-on-one coaching. I've seen people do it, and it mind boggles me. Like, don't pay for something thinking there's going to be some like rosy outcome at the end and you're going to suddenly 10 times your income and you're going to pay back everything in your like that you put towards your mastermind. I was in a mastermind that people did this. It was like a $25,000 mastermind. I had the funds to pay that up front, and other people, and that's crazy. Like, I understand that. I know some of you are like, Paige, I don't have that kind of money. I get it. Then you should not be a part of that type of mastermind. But there's masterminds out there that are like $10K or $12K for, like low, I would say just like not as high profile people, I guess. Some masterminds are more expensive just because the leaders think they're really cool. But if you are getting into a mastermind that is like exorbitant pricing and it's kind of outside of your reach, and if you're not even making that type of profit and you suddenly think like, well, what they teach me, I'm going to be able to like get that back and like 10 times my investment into this. And they're going to have all of this pretty copy and like verbiage on their landing page that you will be able to do that. And these past stories from their success, like students that were in their masterminds previously. Well, that's like probably 1 or 2 success stories in a group of 10 to 20 people that they had in their mastermind last year. And some of them fell prey last year to the fact that, oh, I can afford this, or I will make this investment back. I don't think that's a smart way to approach masterminds and one-on-one coaching. I think it makes you resentful if you don't actually meet that amount and you don't get your ROI back. I don't think it is a good place to start investment and financially as you're heading into a new year. So don't just like pay for a mastermind or pay for one-on-one coaching on a payment plan for the following year, thinking that you will indeed make that much money. I want you to still at least have a decent pot. Treat it as if you are going to invest into something and you already have 6 months of that amount already in your bank account. So for example, if you don't have any money right now in your business bank account, there's not a lot of profit happening, I don't want you investing into any of that stuff. It's just not smart right now. Like, you need to focus on other things in your business versus, increasing your education. But say you are interested in a mastermind on one-on-one coaching. It's $2,000 a month starting January 1st, 2022. And so I want you to have $12,000 at least or more in your business bank account as business profit right now, that you're setting yourself up for being able to finance those monthly expenses for your coaching endeavors, but you also can make money on top of that. And so it's just sitting there as kind of a safety net. That's where I would say, yes, you can invest into that. Now, moving on to workshops. Workshops are a really great way to learn a very specific skill. Particularly for like wedding planners, florists, photographers, videographers. The host of these workshops is going to teach on this and this alone, and you are going to probably get X as an outcome. Like, it's so specific, and it's usually for a limited period of time. I think in-person workshops are a great way to really have like hands-on learning versus, and this is something I would suggest all of you do moving into 2022. Instead, if you have already done a mastermind or one-on-one coaching or other online kind of group coaching situation, look for something in person. And a workshop is a really great way for you to kind of like dabble in bolstering your education in, certain areas and realms of your business life. But workshops also give you that opportunity to talk to someone one-on-one in person. And I feel like everything we've gone through over the past more than 18 months now with the pandemic is everything's so online and so virtual, and we're all having Zoom fatigue, and I'm over it. And I think you are too. So look for in-person things. With workshops in particular, it makes more sense financially, I think, for people to buy into a workshop experience because it's easier to budget for. Taking a quick break in this episode to talk a little bit more about budgeting. I love budgets, spreadsheets, looking at where you're at now and what you can spend on what and what you need to save for the future. I'm an economics major after all, and I have put together a free downloadable budget spreadsheet for you. You can find it at thelegalpage.com/free budget. This budget spreadsheet is going to help you keep up with your business income, expenses, and of course, help you calculate that pesky tax liability. It can also help you budget accordingly for educational purposes. Again, it is a free spreadsheet. And to reiterate, you can find this at thelegalpaige.com/free budget. Usually workshops are kind of a one-time set fee, and then you just have to budget kind of your flights, your lodging, and then your meals, any like additional kind of per diem expenses that could occur. And ultimately, you can come up with a budget for a workshop that, like, say you want to do one workshop for the first 6 months of 2022 and one workshop at the end of 2022 for the last 2 months. Then I would say, like, set yourself a budget. So, of course, look at your finances now, see how much you have extra, but you can also like prepare for this and plan accordingly to invest into a workshop later on. And so if you don't have like a big pot of profit in your business, then workshops are a great way to go because you're going to get that hands-on learning, but you can also be like, okay, I know that this particular photographer that I follow has different workshops every other month. And so while I may not be able to buy into what they are asking me to purchase right now, it's just like not really in accordance with my finances, I can budget so that I can pay for it in the spring of 2022. And so take like, if it's a $1,500, say, workshop, obviously that's the base amount. And then your flight's like an additional $500. And then you're probably going to spend $250 on a car rental. And then can you limit yourself to, let's say $350 on lodging, because it's maybe going to be 2 to 3 days of lodging. So we're at $1,500, $500, what are we at? $2,600 here. And then incidental. So like food and all of that. Probably an additional $200 to $300 if you can limit yourself, try to keep within budget. So say $2,800 is your budget for a workshop. You can easily prepare for that in advance. Look at your budget now and say, okay, I have like an additional $1,000 or $1,500 now that I can put towards that. Boom. I want you to put that amount in your business savings account right now. And then you need to make another about, $1,300, maybe $1,500 to give yourself a little bit of cushion, and set your sights high for the next few months to be able to plop all of that amount from your business bank account into your business savings account. So it's sitting there in your savings and you're not worried about the financial implications of going to this type of workshop. I think like a $2,500, $3,000 kind of workshop or conference or those type of things that are in-person events are truly beneficial. You're going to network. You're going to find people. You are going to get ROI in the long run. And I think we all truly just need human interaction. And so I would suggest that you look for something like that for 2022. And financially, it's just a lot less expensive than like a mastermind or group coaching or one-on-one coaching experience. So if you're just like trying to budget for, I've got $1,500 now, I need to save $1,500, divide that $1,500 by say like 5 months until you can actually purchase the workshop, you only need to save an extra $300 per month. That is what I want you to do. I don't want you to put things on credit cards because you're setting yourself up for debt. versus setting yourself up for, I have the money right now. It's not on a debit card and I have planned for this educational expense in my business. So I love workshops. I think looking at workshops that are particular to what you want to learn, whether that's like a content shoot or styled shoot workshop where you're building your portfolio, and then the ROI on that is you're going to expand your portfolio, be able to put this on your website and on your Instagram, and maybe you're going to garner different types of ideal clients. Okay. Maybe that's the right workshop for you. Or maybe you really need to hone in on editing and you need to hone in on, just like the back end little intricacies of your business. That's a workshop you should look for, and not a styled shoot one, because for all you photographers out there, lots of you are very into styled shoot workshops, but you don't really need it. You don't really need a content shoot workshop. You've already done a bunch of those, and we all like fall prey to, we just want to take more and more and more pretty pictures. Like, that's probably not a good investment education-wise for your business. It's fun, but maybe you've done enough of them and you need to have a different type of workshop. Maybe it's a mindset workshop. Maybe it's a speaking workshop that's going to have you on stage one day. I mean, the list really goes on here. But start with, what are the things I do want to elevate my education-wise as the CEO of my business? What are those kind of avenues that I want to pursue that would really help and bolster my business to the next level? And can I find a workshop that does that? That's in person, that I can ask questions to the host and the coach while I'm there. And also that you can dedicate your time to. You can take time out of your day, out of, your week, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. And maybe it's a Tuesday, Wednesday workshop, leave on Thursday. You're really only having to be away from your business and your family for 3 days. And you can fully, I would say, like, plop out of your life and your business life and be in tune with education in person. I think that's a way better bang for your buck oftentimes than like online endeavors. All this to say, I'm really looking towards kind of in-person events, in-person workshops next year. And I'm probably going to host a couple next year as well, because I value the human interaction, and I think other people do too, and they've missed it. And I think we all need it, even if we think we don't. The last thing I will say for workshops is some people are going to launch workshops at the end of this year for like Q1 and Q2. They're going to say like, get in the workshop now before, it happens in February or January. Look at your expenses for whether it does make sense to pay for that now for 2021 tax purposes and budget purposes, or whether it makes sense to wait for 2022 or to spread that expense across 2021 and 2022. Because sometimes payment plans make sense just for expensing purposes. Like, you may have the money now, and that's great. I want you to still like plop that into your business savings account, because it's like you're paying in full right now, but you're just trying to spread the cost budget-wise for, say, like November and December, and then January and February. Maybe it's a 4-month payment plan, and you can still get good business deductions for educational purposes for both years. So look at that as well when you're trying to budget for workshops. Conferences are very similar. I want to talk a little bit more about conferences here. I love speaking at conferences. I love educating a full room of entrepreneurs, but I also really love attending conferences, a conference circuit, so to speak. I love being on a conference circuit and speaking on a conference circuit, but also like going to different conferences throughout the year. And I'm sure you're wondering why. It's because at a conference, you're hearing many experts speak on various topics, versus at a workshop, you just get one expert speaking on the topic. So think about what you want. Do you want to hear from multiple people who are experts in their field? They obviously can't give you as much one-on-one at a conference as you can at a like smaller, more intimate workshop experience. Maybe that's better suited for you. But at a conference, I will say your networking abilities are much higher. You're going to probably have like, it's just, there's more people, there's more educators. You're going to be kind of more well-versed and ready to succeed in multiple avenues of your business than just one. And I think, everything that you hear a keynote speaker say is going to apply to you differently in your business. And so it's really neat how conferences work and how people take what speakers are saying and are able to really apply that to their own personal and business life. I think conferences are also a great way to just meet people, like I said, and network. So you can build that advocacy for your business. You can build, a network of biz besties that you never thought you would ever meet, because we're coming from all various places of the United States and world potentially. So conferences are great. I will also say they're a lot more hype. It's hype. There's so many fun things going on. There's usually, lunch experiences and dinner experiences and maybe after party experiences, lots of mingling. Conferences are good for extroverts. I would say if you're an introvert too, conferences are good for you because it'll get you outside of your box that you're so used to being in. Conferences, the same way that I just talked about budgeting for workshops, is how you would budget for conferences. So usually it's a set fee, and then just put in your flights, your hotel, your other per diem and meal and expendable extraneous expenses that you may have. Put that all into a budget and make sure that you have that amount. Early bird pricing for conferences is definitely a thing at the end of every year. So be on high alert for early bird pricing here in this last quarter of 2021, because it might be a better way for you to attend a conference next year to get in on early bird pricing, because you're going to save $500 or $800. But like I said, don't just do it and put it on a credit card. Make sure you have money for it. So make sure that you're budgeting accordingly. I also, you guys, have a vast amount of content over on Instagram about how to get the most out of conferences if you do go. So just go check over at the legal page on Instagram. I have reels, I have posts, I have story highlights all about conferences and networking and how to really get the most out of your money and most out of your time at conferences. I also wanted to talk about memberships real quick. So memberships are a great monthly tool where you're getting a value or resource delivered right to you every single month for a monthly fee. And it's easier to budget for because usually membership programs or sites are less expensive. So if you're kind of a newer business owner and you want a business coach, or you want advice from someone that you look up to, but you cannot afford their mastermind program or their one-on-one or group coaching program, but they have a membership program, I would say that's a good first step in the door of elevating your education as a CEO. And oftentimes memberships are something that this is different than what I've suggested throughout the rest of this episode. I think that you don't necessarily need to have the money in your account right now because it's such a small expense. If it's $50 to $100 a month, and maybe there's an early sign-up fee right now at the end of the year for you to have 12 months of this membership in 2022. And so you get a reduced fee, maybe instead of $79, it's $49, and get in now to lock in that price. If that is an easy amount that you can make next year, you can as long as I would say you have at least a few months of that as business profit in your business bank account, $200 to $300, expendable dollars in there, then you're fine. You can totally sign up for that membership. You're going to make more money next year. You're probably going to learn something from this membership that is going to help you make another $500 to $1,000. And so it's going to be totally worth it. And your ROI is going to be there. So memberships are definitely something I would take a peek at if, say, you don't have thousands of dollars to expend in educational stuff right now, and you just have a smaller pot. That's what I would look for. Additionally, if you have a smaller pot of, business profit here at the end of 2021, and you're looking to invest into things, maybe you're looking for some good business expenses now at the end of the year to reduce your taxable income for 2021, I would definitely look into contracts. I'm just going to like plop the legal page in there right now. There's lots of good deals that happen at the end of the year. Lots of people run sales. And we offer this so that people can kind of get their legal ducks in a row, get the contracts they need for the year ahead, and do it at a lesser reduced fee. So lots of I would say digital resources, not just like contract templates. We have that, of course, and we have sales at the end of the year. So look out for that. Those are 100% deductible because they actually are legal and professional fees. So that's good. But also, other digital products, there's Black Friday sales that happen where people heavily reduce all of the digital products they have and guides and presets and online courses. I mean, look at your budget and be like, okay, I have an extra $500 to $1,000 to spend here on Black Friday week. And then figure out where that $500 to $1,000 is going to be allocated during Black Friday week, and don't spend any more. Please don't, because I want you to end the year successful and with black on your budget spreadsheet, not in the red. I want you to be in the black. I want you to have lots of business profit there. And that's it. So hopefully this episode was very informative. It was a fun episode for me to record. I love talking all things budget and financing and how to plan out what you're going to do for the quarter ahead or the year ahead. And right now, it's so vital and important because I think we are all going to get trapped into oh shoot moments by December 2021 when we finally can take a breather and look at our budget, but then we've missed out on some very valuable educational opportunities that we could have expended income or expended some money on so that we can reduce our tax liability by the end of the year, because you got to purchase all these things by the end of December 31st, 2021. I truly want you as well to, grab your smartphone, start typing in notes, plan out all of the education that you're really interested in investing into this next year. Plan out as well, how much you're willing to allocate your expense-wise to that, whether that's, $2,000 to a conference, $5,000 to a one-on-one group coaching program, and $500 to just digital products or online courses. Then you know what your budget is. See if you have it in your business bank account right now. If so, plop it into your business savings account. That's what you're using for solely educational expense purposes only. And if you don't have that amount, I want you to save, and then buy. And remember, I have tons of resources when it comes to coaching and online offerings and conferences, etc. So head over to my website, thelegalpage.com, sift through our blog, sift through other podcast episodes that we have as well. I am your resource here to help you plan out your education for this coming year. So I would love to help you do that. You can DM me if you have any questions regarding budgeting for 2022 and for the end of this year. I wish you all the best with your finances. I want you to be successful as business owners and profitable as business owners. So hopefully this episode will help you get there education-wise. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys next week.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Legal Page podcast. See, I told you being legally legit isn't so scary. Be sure to visit thelegalpage.com for all show notes. And it would be super awesome if you could head over to iTunes and leave a review. Last but not least, don't forget to join my free Facebook group for unlimited legal and biz Q&A. Chat soon, Legal Pagers.